Machine. One of the feature classes at the recent Malcove Sport Classic meeting at Pukekohe was the new Radio Sport BMW series. It featured a huge field of BMWs, including 8 of the new E30s.
An innovation of motor racing over the summer is the introduction of the BMW class. Sponsored by Radio Sport, you'll see all sorts of BMWs out there, including the new E30 class. Lots of these cars being built, and the man that's been the mastermind behind them in Auckland is Mr. Colin Briscoe. He'll race one himself, as will many people. Must be good to finally be out there in competition.
Oh yes, it's a lot of fun. The adrenaline's really running now.
5-second board goes across, and great to see BMW back in New Zealand motor racing with, of course, the mini challenge in the Tier 1 meetings. And the BMW class here brought to you by Radio Sport, and away they go, and it looks like a fantastic start for Mike Delmont. 30 cars faced the starter, and it is Mike Delmont in the front in the 2002 Turbo BMW. Now this is a wolf in sheep's clothing because it gets around Pukekohe in around about the 65-second mark. That's what he was doing in qualifying. That's why he was on pole position. Alongside him it is Mike Tubbs, long-time competitor with a BMW right through all of the Dunlop Targas and most of the Auckland 6 Hours, including class wins and podium positions. So great to see some of the stalwarts of the BMWs here at Pukekohe Park Raceway for this icebreaker. Into the hairpin for the first time. There is Mike Tubbs. He threw in second place. Jim Wallace in the red car, watch for him as well. Had a great start, and he's moved up into the top 4 or 5. As I said, 30 different BMWs on the racetrack, and they range from the E30 series right through to 635s. And isn't it great to see BMW back with a force here in New Zealand motor racing? In the 80s and 90s, they owned the touring car scene in New Zealand and around the world, you'd have to say. Of course, you cast your mind back to the Wellington Street Race and the performances of Roberto Ravaglia and Joachim Winkelhock, all in M3 Schnitzer BMWs. And here we see a full field of them dicing around this 2.8 kilometre circuit. And the word is there's far more to come, so that is going to be a very popular class. Mike Delmont in the front, Tubbs through in second place. Then it's Warren Glassford in the silver car. But look at this. This thing has a huge turbocharger on it, and it really does get around this circuit. You see Mike there just fighting with the wheel as he comes through Castrol and out onto the back straight. Hitting speeds well over 140 miles an hour on that back straight. Good move there coming from Dines McConnell to move up into the top 6 now. So slowly but surely they start to come through them. There is McConnell. That's an M6 BMW. Right in behind him, it's number 755. And that's Peter Bromley in another 2002. Very popular car. And as I said before, lots of E30s out there, 8 or 9 of them. And they're having their own battles within battles. This man, well, he's got it all on his own. He can afford to showboat a little bit now because he's got a big lead around about probably 5-8 seconds at the moment. So all sorts of different BMWs, makes and models here as they find their own racing room, find their own pace. But it is Mike Delmont out in the front, Mike Tubbs in second place, then it's Jim Wallace, then it is Warren Glassford. This looks to be the battle for second and third. Behind them, the red 325. There is Mike Delmont. Another one that's got his start in motor racing through Club Sport and the Dunlop Tyres Targa Rally. Been to just about every single one of them, and I think he's walked away with class honours as well. 246, we saw the big move coming from Dines McConnell in the previous lap. Well, it's paid off for him. There is Jim Wallace in a BMW M3. Now, you remember those shaped cars from years ago, and probably more famously about the accident that Tony Longhurst had in one of those, in one of the Wellington Street races, got involved with John Sachs. That was in the Benson and Hedges colours. All of the top motor racers in New Zealand, and probably go as far as to say in Australia as well, have driven BMWs, including the legendary Peter Brock. Jim Richards, of course, in the JPS black and gold liveried 635 BMWs. And the word is that there is a ex-JPS BMW coming into this class as the season progresses. The Origin Windows BMW there of Mike Tubbs in second place. Look at the traffic jam in behind. Number 530 going through there, Andrew Timms. Oh, and just about caking off the water there, car number 83, Nigel Patterson in the 320i. They get very close. Well, they say rubbing's racing, don't they? And that's what we got here in the Radio Sport BMWs. Great scrap going on there with Peter Robinson and Dines McConnell. Further down through the field, they're battling out for about 9th or 10th at the moment as we try and find the race leader. It is still Mike Delmont in the 2002 Beamer. There's Hugh Gardner having a great scrap there with Andrew Timms. Hugh Gardner, a regular competitor in that car. That's a touring car spec BMW. There is number 530, Andrew Timms in the 323i. This is a battle for second place, and Mike Tubbs hasn't got it all his own way now because he is getting absolutely harassed by Warren Glassford. Look at this. Tubbs has done a fair few laps around here, but so too is the man right behind him. Great to see these old cars back in the running. Graham McGregor just goes through in his gold 323i. Meantime, that white flash coming through the field is Mike Delmont in the 2002 BMW. This is a car he's contested all the Targas with. It's as reliable as an axe, and I can tell you it is very, very quick indeed. 65s in qualifying. Well, he's had to contend with the traffic, but he's into the 66s here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. Now, cast your mind back 2 or 3 seasons ago, and that was the time of a V8 Tourer. So this is a very, very quick BMW. This battle for second, well, it just won't end, will it? Here's a battle further down through the field. This is Dines McConnell. Just in behind him, it's the little green car of Peter Robinson. A couple of E30s going at it. This new class of racing that's going to take, I'm sure, the motor racing fraternity by storm. There is McConnell. Hugh Gardner in there as well. So too number 67, the little green car of Peter Robinson. So these two having a great scrap. In there as well, Paul Cook. Look at this door handle to door handle stuff. Great to see the different makes of these somewhat exotic cars. There is the Popular Motors sponsored Hugh Gardner. Meantime, back to the front of the field. Well, this is a battle for second and third. Tubbs has got through now into second place. Jim Wallace, or should I say Warren Glassford, through in third. Car number 11 on your screen. Another one of the Exotica. That's Ken Henderson in the 318i. There is number 323 again. We've seen him a couple of times in the coverage. That's the gold car of Graham McGregor. There is a Schnitzer liveried BMW as the leader comes through. I think that might have been the white flag out, or should I say the last lap board. So Mike Delmont already starting to cut his way into the lap traffic here. 106.32, his best lap so far, so he is not hanging around. Look at this battle for second place. Mike Tubbs using all his racecraft to stay in front of Warren Glassford for the moment. There is Tubbs with the Dodson sponsorship and the Ginny and Holmes sponsorship and the Origin Windows sponsorship on his 325i, and right in behind him it is a little giant killing performance coming from Warren Glassford in the 87 325 E30. Speaking of the E30s, we talk about the class. I can tell you that leading the class at the moment is Mel Clark. One of the veterans of motor racing is Mike Delmont, one of the veterans of BMW racing, comes across the line in first place. Second place will be Mike Tubbs, there he goes, and right in behind him it will be Warren Glassford. Fourth place was Jim Wallace in the red M3, and in fifth place it was Grant Clegg in another BMW 2002. So there is the official results. No doubt about the winner. Mike Delmont just cleared away from them. Mike Tubbs through in second, Glassford and Wallace. Mike, congratulations on a good win. I thought Tubbsy was going to give you a bit of a run there for a while.
Yeah, he sort of got a better start than I did, I think. This car's a bit hard to get started. It sort of lights the bags up, but yeah, we managed to just hook second, third gear, and I think we just got through in the front.
Well, Mike Delmont, no stranger to the Dunlop Targa. Neither is this man. Mike Tubbs got his motor racing start there.
Oh, it's so exciting, Phil. It's been put together by about six guys dreaming last year, and built some sanctioned rules and created a class that's going to be so exciting for anybody to get into. And of course, while they're getting the numbers up with the E30 class, which covers you for 16, 18 and 2 litre, they've got an open class for the rest of BMW owners to come and enjoy their days as well.
Well, one of the veterans of the motor racing scene these days is Mel Clark, and he led home the E30s.
What we've got here is just a car that I bought off Trade Me, and we've banged a roll cage in it and we're going racing. It's excellent.
2 races down in its competition debut. How's it gone?
Well, I'm a little worried about the clutch because I don't know how many kilometres it's done. So, but it's right at the top of its travel and it seems to be working okay. So it's only got to do 6 more laps and get me home and I'll be happy as.
You're back with Speed Machine. That 2002 of Mike Del Monte's is one very fast car. Let's go back to the action and see how he gets on in race 2.
5-second board goes across as we get set for the second of the Radio Sport BMW Series races. No surprises who's on the front row. It is the fastest car in the field. That is Mike Delmont. Alongside of him it is Michael Tubbs. Second row back it's Jim Wallace and Warren Glassford. We saw Glassford having a huge tussle with Tubbs in race number 1. Let's see if it plays out this way in race number 2. Tubbs a little bit closer now as they work their way into the S's and down into Castrol for the first of 6 times. Look at the way that Delmont fights with the wheel just to get the traction onto the ground and stop the back of the car slipping out, because Tubbs is ready to pounce. Car number 146 further down through the field. That's Mike Peterson in the 535i. And as we said, 8 of the brand new E30 class races out there, and they really are an affordable way to go racing. You can get an E30 BMW. They range from about the mid-80s right through into the early 90s for around about $1,000, $1,800 on Trade Me, and that is a great base to start your motor racing career. They're allowed to do subtle adjustments. They have a suspension package. They run pretty much a stock engine, but it is a recipe for fun. A recipe for fun for this man as well, streaking down the front straight. Battle for second and third. Well, we've got to put in a new name there. Jim Wallace has made his way into second place now. Well, this class has certainly brought out some of the characters out of the woodwork to drive their BMWs. One of them, Brendan Dugan, country and western singer extraordinaire, Dunlop Targa veteran, and now circuit racer, because he thought the BMW class would be just for him. Watch for him, car number 36 in the 325i. A little bit closer in the E30s this time, but it's Mel Clark still holding the front running. Common lap time for the E30s is around about the 118, 119 mark. I can tell you that Mel Clark's been getting around here in the 117s, and you can probably put that down to the fact that he's had a lot of experience on the racetrack and in all sorts of different motor vehicles. This man, well, he's had a lot of experience in this car, and look at the way it hunkers down under power. Mike Delmont well in control of this one. Tubbs through in second place. Then it's Jim Wallace. Then we go further back through the field. You'll see Graham McGregor there in the silver car, also making his presence felt in this one as well. Dines McConnell, number 246, but it is a one-horse race at the front, and look at the speed. This is such a rapid little 2002 turbo BMW. This is the battle for second, third and fourth. It's Tubbs, Wallace and Warren Glassford once again. We saw Glassford get a fighting third place to Mike Tubbs in the previous race. At the moment he sits in fourth. There he is, number 52, the Benson sponsored car. Just up ahead of him it is Jim Wallace. We watch the E30 battle though for the moment. Mel Clark leading that one. Car number 20, the Bygone Autos car, and look at the way they queue up behind. Back to this battle for second, and to the hairpin they come once again. Tubbs in the lead. Jim Wallace, Warren Glassford. Delmont is gone. He's the best part of a straightaway in front. Then we go back further to Hugh Gardner and then Grant Clegg in another 2002. Behind him it's Graham McGregor, then Andrew Timms, then Dines McConnell. That's McConnell on your screen at the moment. Trying to get inside of him, number 67, Peter Robinson, and 373, Paul Cook is there as well. Number 102, well, he's been in the wars. That's Lyle Moore. And yet another 2002. In fact, he did that earlier on in the practice session. They managed to repair that car and get it out onto the racetrack. Two-day meeting here at Pukekohe, the Icebreaker, brought to you by Malcove Sport. Well, this man's certainly broken the ice in the Radio Sport BMW class, because he has absolutely killed them here on the Sunday. Delmont in the front, Tubbs in second place. Unusual line as he works his way into the Jenny and Home Sweeper. Right in behind him it's Jim Wallace. Then it is Warren Glassford. There is Hugh Gardner. Easy to spot. Behind him Grant Clegg and yet another 2002. Graham McGregor behind him. That is Andrew Timms, the red Beamer. Well, this one's a veteran of many of the Auckland 6 Hours and a lot of club racing here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. It is Hugh Gardner. battle with the E30s. We try and pick up the leader of them. It should be car number 20, and that is Mel Clark. There is the man we have no problem in identifying. This is the race leader, and this is Mike Delmont, and he's cut a swathe through this field. And let's compare the lap times. He's going around here consistently in around about the 66-second mark, while the slowest car in the field at the moment is lapping over the 1:22 minutes, and that is Alistair Carter in yet another 2002 or 2002 Bieber, but not quite as breathed on as Mike Delmont. Look at the speed difference as he rockets down the front straight under the bridge here at Pukekohe Park into the Jenny and Home sweeper. Well over 120 miles an hour on the front straight, well over 130, 135 on the back straight. Number 501. Belching the orange flame out the exhaust pipe. This is the battle for second and third. Still Tubbs in the front. It is Jim Wallace through in third. Then it's Glassford. Following them, Gardner, Clegg, McGregor, Andrew Timms. They're locked together in a good scrap. This is Hugh Gardner. Hugh, of course, done a lot of driving in the last few seasons in single-seaters. In this car, you name it, he'll drive anything they give him. Number 755 coming through as well. This is Peter Bromley. Just up ahead of him, it was Paul Cook in the BMW CS Coupe 71 vintage. Now worth a lot of coin. This is Hugh Gardner. Now he's currently sitting down in 5th place. And look at the cars queuing up behind him. The 2002, certainly very popular. Car number 38. Now that's one of the E30s. That's Dave Lawrence. Leading the E30s at the moment is still Mel Clark in the Bygone Autos car. Having a look at Andrew Timms by the look of it, number 530, coming through there in the 323i, 84 model. This, though, is the man that has been head and shoulders above everybody here at Pukekohe Park Raceway today for the icebreaker meeting, Mike Delmont. Well, some problems there for car number 5, and that's Alex Tenhove. Well, he's been around a long time. He should know a little bit better than that. Just makes a little bit of a mistake as they came onto the back straight. Meantime, this battle continues. Further down through the field, car number 4, Milan Klinak in a 316i. He's lapping at around about the 122s, and compare that to Mike Delmont in the 66-second mark. This battle continues up in second place. Just getting through some of the E30, some of the lap traffic is still Mike Tubbs in second place. It's Delmont leading. Checkered flag comes out. He's won another one here in the Radio Sport Series. Mike Delmont wins it easily. Got to wait a long, long time now for second place. It's the best part of 10 or 15 seconds. As we look for Mike Tubbs in the E36 M3, there he is, and right in behind him it's Jim Wallace. So they've battled all the way to the line, and right in behind Wallace it is Warren Glassford. So great results in the Radio Sport BMWs. Delmont takes yet another win here at Pukekohe. Second place is Tubbs, and third it is Jim Wallace.
Great to see a few of the new E30s on the track. With around 30 of them being built, it's going to be a great series. All of the E30s use a controlled set of King Springs and Coney shocks. So we went along to see Grant Schuber at George Stocks to learn a little bit more about them and see how they're set up.
Well, back in the early days, discussions with Colin, that was a relationship that Colin has had with Stocks, actually going back to his BMW days. It's something our service department have done with all the BMW service agents regarding all their equipment. And Colin come to see us. I guess he was aware that we did a lot of the control classes. V8 touring cars, of course, we run a Coney shock, and it's an open spring. Pro 7 and the Pro 7 Plus, again, a control shock. Pro 7s with KYB that we supply. Pro 7 Plus with a Coney that we've just recently developed for the last 2 years, again with an open spring. And Colin come along to see what package we could do for the E30s.
And was there a bit of trial and experimentation involved and before we settled on this current combination?
Yeah, originally we're talking about a controlled spring rate and an open shock. The benefit there was to allow people who maybe had a brand awareness for a certain brand to run the brand they preferred, or people who wanted to get in at a low-cost option could come off with something like a KYB, for example, at a replacement price. But I think as it evolved, it was felt that being a race class, you really needed something that was going to be suitable. So we looked at doing something and controlling the costs with a reasonable price shock, and we've settled on the Coney, which is externally adjustable. Yes, what we've done with the two cars, with the 318 and the 320 being different weights, we've run the Coney out of the catalogue for the 318 and the Coney out of the catalogue for the 320, which are very similar in value. And with springs, we've gone to a different front spring for the 318 compared to the 320. Of course, the 320's got a slightly heavier spring rate, just to allow for that extra weight that's over the front axle. The challenge we have when you build a spring with the rate you need for a little club or circuit car is that you have a very high spring rate, and when you go up in spring rate in the spring, you lose free height. And the higher you get in the spring, the shorter it becomes so that your car has a reasonable ride height. So to compensate, you have to build a spring with a very much a tapered wire or a solid block on top, so that when the vehicle's on the ground, the ride height's right. When you jack the car up, the spring actually remains trapped, because these cars all have to be, as you know, warrantable and registered, so that all the compliance has to comply with the LTSA regulations. So we have to make sure we have enough trap length that the spring isn't loose.
When we come back, the first interview in our Jerry Clayton BMW Premium Selection. This week, Laurie Chandler.